Paris is the capital of France and the largest city in the European Union. It's known as the City of Light and is famous for its beauty, architecture, museums, and monuments. Paris is also a major center of culture, business, finance, diplomacy, commerce, fashion, and gastronomy. Paris has many famous landmarks, including Eiffel Tower, a symbol of love and romance. This tower offers visitors a great view. Louvre, the world's largest art museum, with over 38,000 pieces of art, including the Mona Lisa. Notre Dame Cathedral, a Gothic cathedral that means Our Lady of Paris in French. Arc de Triomphe honors those who fought for France during the French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars, and contains the tomb of the unknown soldier from World War I. Paris is also known for its many art museums, historical buildings, and underground subway system. The city has a multicultural style, with 19% of the population coming from outside France. Paris's history dates back to the 3rd century BC, when a Celtic tribe called the Parisii settled on the banks of the Seine. The Parisii were fishermen who took advantage of the area's fertility and climate. In 50 BC, the Romans conquered the village and established a Gallo-Roman town called Lutetia. The city's name changed to Paris in the 4th century. In 508 AD, the Frankish king Clovis I named Paris the capital of his kingdom, Gaul. The Franks ruled France throughout the Middle Ages. Since the 17th century, Paris has been a major center for finance, diplomacy, commerce, culture, fashion, and gastronomy. In the 19th century, it became known as the City of Light for its role in the arts and sciences, as well as its early and extensive system of street lighting. Some major events in Paris's history include the Bastille takeover 1789, the execution of Louis XVI 1793, the coronation of Napoleon I 1804, the Exposition of Universities 1855, the first flight over the Atlantic Ocean 1927, France being freed from the Germans 1944. Paris, France's capital, is a major European city and a global center for art, fashion, gastronomy and culture. Its 19th century cityscape is crisscrossed by wide boulevards and the River Seine. Beyond such landmarks as the Eiffel Tower and the 12th century Gothic Notre Dame Cathedral, the city is known for its café culture and designer boutiques along the Rue du Faubourg Saint-Honore. Area, 105.4 square kilometers. Elevation, 35 meters. Population, 21.6 lakhs 2019 Eurostat. Mayor, Anne Hidalgo. Paris is known for its gorgeous, imposing monuments. These iconic structures, often an exemplar of a particular era in architecture, are one of the city's instantly recognizable elements. The preeminent of Paris's landmarks is the Eiffel Tower. There's a reason Paris is one of the most popular cities among travelers. Known as the City of Light or the City of Love, the streets of Paris overflow with culture, art, beauty, and history. Whether searching out Monet's Water Lily at Musée de l'Orangerie, climbing the many steps of Sacré-Cœur, standing before the Eiffel Tower in awe, or searching out the best crepes along the Seine, Paris is a city that captures the hearts of millions every year. Believe it or not though, Paris wasn't always called Paris, and the Eiffel Tower wasn't supposed to be a permanent fixture. Here are 10 interesting facts about Paris. The Eiffel Tower was supposed to be a temporary installation, intended to stand for 20 years after being built for the 1889 World Fair. Paris was originally a Roman city called Lutetia. It's believed that Paris only has one stop sign in the entire city. A flat in Paris was left unoccupied under lock and key for 70 years, but the rent was paid every month. When the renter passed away, a painting by Boldini valued at more than $2 million was found inside. There are at least 3 replicas of the Statue of Liberty in Paris. The most famous of them exists on an island in the middle of the Seine and looks towards her sister statue in New York. The main bell of the Notre Dame Cathedral is named Emmanuel and weighs over 13 tons. There are 6,100 rues, or streets, in Paris. The shortest one, Rue des Degres, is just 5.75 meters long and can be found in the 2nd arrondissement. The French army was the first to use camouflage, which comes from the French verb to make up for the stage. The army began wearing camouflage in 1915 during World War I. The first public screening of a movie was by French brothers Auguste and Louis Lumière in December 1895. They used their invention, the cinematography, to show 10 films of about 50 seconds each. Visitors to the Eiffel Tower have to climb 1,665 steps to reach the top, unless they take the elevator. There are a mere 270 steps to reach the Basilica of the Sacred Heart. Norway is a land of breathtaking fjords, snow-capped mountains, and lush green valleys. It's a place where ancient glaciers meet modern cities, and natural beauty takes your breath away. Whether you're interested in exploring the fjords, hiking majestic mountains, or experiencing the northern lights, Norway has something to offer everyone. Norway is a Scandinavian country. We Norwegians tend to believe that Norway is the center of the earth and everyone knows who we are. The truth is that Norway isn't as large as we want to believe, and everyone doesn't even know that Norway even is a country. Norway is a Scandinavian country with approximately 5.2 million people and has numerous times been named one of the best places to live or visit. For those who don't know, Scandinavia consists of Norway, Sweden and Denmark, 3 Nordic countries located in Europe. 1. Norway is a Scandinavian country. 2. Polar bears do not walk in the streets. 3. The Norwegian currency is no Norwegian krone. 4. Most Norwegians speak English. 5. Norway is a safe country to visit. 6. Winter, spring, summer, fall. 7. Always bring an extra layer of clothes. 8. Wild camping is allowed in mostly all of Norway. 9. National parks and most outdoor locations are free to use. 10. Norway has the best salmon. 11. Traveling in Norway can be expensive if you only eat out. 12. Northern lights are invisible everywhere. 13. Norway is a long country. 14. There aren't many dangers in the wild. 15. Norwegians eat a lot of taco. 16. The difference between southern Norway and northern Norway is huge. 17. The midnight sun isn't a different sun. Svalbard, however, is a Norwegian archipelago between mainland Norway and the North Pole, where there are more polar bears than people. Still, it's rare that there are any incidents between the inhabitants and polar bears. Jump to chapter. Norway is a Scandinavian country. We Norwegians tend to believe that Norway is the center of the earth and everyone knows who we are. The truth is that Norway isn't as large as we want to believe, and everyone doesn't even know that Norway even is a country. Norway is a Scandinavian country with approximately 5.2 million people and has numerous times been named one of the best places to live or visit. For those who don't know, Scandinavia consists of Norway, Sweden and Denmark. As one of the most expensive countries in Europe, Switzerland is often skipped over by budget travelers. Yet, while it is not a cheap destination, Switzerland is one of the most beautiful places on earth. This landlocked country is home to shimmering lakes, more than 7,000 of them, picturesque mountains, hello Alps, tiny walled medieval towns, historic cities, soaring peaks, endless green fields you want to run through, delicious chocolate and cheese, incredible beer, and friendly, welcoming people. It's known for ski resorts, hiking trails, its neutral foreign policy stance, being a banking and finance center, and making Swiss watches. Everything runs on time here, the country is safe, and everyone is super nice. I loved my time traveling around Switzerland, and the country rocks no matter what time of the year you visit. Switzerland to help you plan your trip, save money, and ensure you make the most out of your time here. Top 5 things to see and do in Switzerland. 1. Tour the capital. Bern has an amazing historic center. This part of town is filled with medieval clock towers, cobblestone streets, churches, and well-preserved sandstone homes. Be sure to walk the River Arway. Visit the History Museum and the Einstein Museum, and check out the bears at the Bear Park. 2. Ski the Matterhorn. The Matterhorn's sharp, angular peak is one of Switzerland's most iconic attractions. You have to take a train or bus into the Zermatt area, the closest town to the mountain, as cars aren't allowed. If you miss ski season, come hike the mountain in the summer. You can take the world's highest cable car up to the viewing platform. 3. Visit Zurich. Zurich is also set on beautiful Zurich Lake, near the mountains, and is close to a lot of other cities like Bern. I love the historic center that opens up on the lake. A perfect day here involves sitting in the parks and drinking a beer on the lakefront. The city is also very arty and full of street art and museums. 4. Be adventurous in Interlaken. Interlaken is one of the outdoor capitals of the country, though it's quite touristy during peak season. There is a lot to do here for the adrenaline seeker: skydiving over a Swiss glacier, water skiing, hiking, and more. This is also ground zero for backpackers since there are so many free outdoor activities. 5. Visit the Swiss Riviera. The Swiss Riviera is situated in Le canton of Vaud and goes along Lake Geneva. You can visit unique terrace vineyards that overlook the lake, the 12th century castle Chateau de Chillon built on the water, and the town of Montreux, which is famous for its annual jazz festival. Other things to see and do in Switzerland. 1. Join in the Fastnacht Spring Carnival. This festival in Basel is a 3-day party that welcomes in the warm weather and takes place annually on the Monday following Ash Wednesday. It's something that's highly anticipated by both tourists and locals, and it's definitely Switzerland's most popular festival. Fastnachtlers dress in elaborate costumes to hide their identities and parade around town with cliques bands playing drums and piccolos. All the bars and restaurants in town remain open throughout the entire 3 days, and everyone is in a good mood, too. Explore Geneva. As the third largest city in Switzerland, Geneva offers spectacular views of the city's Lake Geneva, the world's largest fountain, one of the main UN headquarters, a historic city center, and a collection of international restaurants to satisfy anyone's palate. While you're here, make sure you check out the Geneva's Art and History Museum and the Red Cross and Red Crescent Museum. There are 40 museums here in total, so there's a lot to keep you entertained. 3. Hike Mt. Pilatus, located right outside the city of Lucerne. This beautiful mountain has breathtaking views of the Alps from the city. You can take a gondola or hike the trails to the top to look out over the Swiss Alps. It's about 2 hours to the top if you hike and 30 minutes by gondola. There are some easier trails around the northern side of Pilatus, as well as other attractions in the summer months such as a roped course. The country of Thailand is a dream place of bachelors and men looking for sex, as the women usually are easy to pick up and an individual visiting the country does not need to put too much effort into it. Just a simple conversation, show of wealth, and the promise of good sex are good enough for one-night stands. Chances of picking up women at daytime are excellent in Thailand, as the women are horny all throughout the day. There is no specific time that they would not like to hook up with a good-looking tourist. Logo. Search city ... back to top. Bangkok at night. Officially known as the Kingdom of Thailand, the country is situated in the continent of Asia. More specifically, it is located at the heart of the Southeast Asian Indo-Chinese peninsula. The country is the 21st most populous country in the world. The country is notoriously famous for its sex tourism and the huge influx of horny tourists having a wild time with naughty females. Greece is a country in Southeast Europe that's known as the birthplace of Western civilization. It's home to 18 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and its mountainous terrain covers about 80% of the country. Greece, the southernmost of the countries of the Balkan Peninsula, geography has greatly influenced the country's development. Mountains historically restricted internal communications, but the sea opened up wider horizons. The total land area of Greece, 1/5 of which is made up of the Greek islands, is comparable in size to England or the U.S. state of Alabama. Greece has more than 2,000 islands, of which about 170 are inhabited. Some of the easternmost Aegean islands lie just a few miles off the Turkish coast. The country's capital is Athens, which expanded rapidly in the second half of the 20th century. Attiki, ancient Greek, Attica, the area around the capital, is now home to about 1/3 of the country's entire population. A Greek legend has it that God distributed soil through a sieve and used the stones that remained to build Greece. The country's barren landscape historically caused the people to migrate. The Greeks, like the Jews and the Armenians, traditionally have been a people of diaspora, and several million people of Greek descent live in various parts of the world. Xenotea, or sojourning in foreign lands, with its strong overtones of nostalgia for the faraway homeland, has been a central element in the historical experience of the Greek people. Greece is a country that is at once European, Balkan, Mediterranean, and Near Eastern. It lies at the juncture of Europe, Asia, and Africa and is heir to the heritages of classical Greece, the Byzantine Empire, and nearly 4 centuries of Ottoman Turkish rule. Greece is bordered to the east by the Aegean Sea, to the south by the Mediterranean Sea, and to the west by the Ionian Sea. Only to the north and northeast does it have land borders totaling some 735 miles 1,180 kilometers, with, from west to east, Albania, the Republic of North Macedonia. See researchers note. Macedonia, the provenance of the name, Bulgaria, and Turkey. The Greek landscape is conspicuous not only for its rugged beauty but also for its complexity and variety. 3 elements dominate: the sea, the mountains, and the lowland. The Greek mainland is sharply indented. Arms and inlets of the sea penetrate so deeply that only a small, wedge-shaped portion of the interior is more than 50 miles 80 kilometers from the coast. The rocky headlands and peninsulas extend outward to the sea where there are many island arcs and archipelagos. The southernmost part of mainland Greece, the Peloponnesos, ancient Greek, Peloponnese Peninsula, connects to the mainland only by the narrow isthmus at the head of the Gulf of Corinthiakos, Corinth. Greece's mountainous terrain covers some 4/5 of the country, much of which is deeply dissected. A series of mainland mountain chains running northwest-southeast enclose narrow parallel valleys and numerous small basins that once held lakes, with riverine plains and thin, discontinuous strips of coastal plain. These interior valleys and basins constitute the lowland. Although it accounts for only about 1/5 of the country's land area, the lowland has played an important role in the life of the country. History. Greece is considered the birthplace of democracy. Western philosophy, Western literature, historiography, political science, major scientific and mathematical principles, theater, and the Olympic Games. Geography. Greece has the longest coastline in Europe and the 5th longest coastline in the world. Mount Olympus is Greece's highest mountain, at 9,570 feet 2,917 meters above sea level. Population. Greece has a population of approximately 11 million, with Athens being the most densely populated area with around 4 million residents. Famous people. Greece is famous for its ancient philosophers, like Plato, Pythagoras, Socrates, and Aristotle. Ruins. Greece is known for its remarkably preserved ruins, as well as its many archaeological museums. What is Greece famous for? Greece is famous for its ancient philosophers, like Plato, Pythagoras, Socrates, and Aristotle, to name a few. It is known as the birthplace of democracy in the West. They invented the Olympic Games and theater. Ancient Greeks invented monumental temples with Greek columns. There's a wild beauty, too, in the white sand sweep of Greece's beaches, all the more dazzling against the glittering sapphire of the Aegean Sea, in a country blessed with craggy mountains, natural harbors, and dramatic volcanoes. You're constantly surrounded by exquisite scenery. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe our Insight Travel around the world.